Now for the spoilery part. So anyone who does not want to watch the spoilers, and those who haven't played it yet, I suggest going away and going getting it if you haven't already, or go finish it now and then come back and watch it. Okay, cool. Okay, so let's talk about what Leviathan is about without hiding away the story. Okay. Again, this is expanding on Reaper history, just like From Ashes did for the Protheans, except in my opinion this is much more interesting. And the From Ashes, I want to go into this, but I seriously got 45 minutes out of that. It was so fast, and I was ticked off that I paid for that. Actually, no, I didn't. No, I did. $10. No, I'm not going to go into that now. No. So after Admiral Hackett's message at the start, Shepard goes to visit a doctor, Dr. Bryson, on the Citadel, who is investigating about this unknown creature who is connected in some way with the Reapers, because this creature, which they've named the Leviathan, has managed to kill a Reaper, which is just strange, but there you go. Right off the bat, you know something's wrong, because after you finished, almost not even finished talking with Bryson, his assistant comes in, who's all, you're breaking something in the darkness or whatever, this really creepy voice, and shoots Bryson, and kills him without any recollection of what's happened afterwards. Like, he just does not remember what's happened, and he does not believe that he just killed his boss, practically. And then you as Shepard have to go follow all these clues from the lab. You have to get all these clues and go to all these different locations to find different people, different doctors. You have to find a Dr. Garneau at the start, and that's the most creepiest thing I've ever seen in Mass Effect. And then I'll talk about that in a minute. And then you have to go find Dr. Anne Bryson, who's Bryson's daughter, and helps you find what Leviathan is. So once after you found Dr. Garneau, and then he died, so I'll come back to that though, you find Dr. Anne Bryson, who is also studying the same thing on a different base that her father was studying. And she helps you obtain information about the Leviathan and connects with him personally with the way that Leviathan controls people through Leviathan's artifacts. Then you have the location of the Leviathan, as once Edie's tracked it down for you, and you go to this planet, and it's pretty much all water. It's all water, and Leviathan is underground. He's under the sea. You have to fight some Reapers first. Of course, more Reapers to fight before you go under in the sea. And a mech takes you down. And you get to see the environment of the ocean, we never see the environment of the ocean, obviously, because it's Mass Effect and usually it's up there. And then, basically, you find out what Leviathan is. And it's really interesting when Leviathan merges up. He is a Reaper. He is what the Reapers were before. He was the Leviathan species. He doesn't even tell us what the species is. Leviathan doesn't even tell you what he is, which is kind of dumb. But there you go. His race was the first the Reapers harvested. And that's why the Reapers have never claimed another shape. That was the first they harvest. That was the first they managed to harvest completely. Not completely, sorry. And then he's giving you all this information, and there's all this packed of information, and he's saying that he will eventually help you, blah, 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 and then he kills another Reaper when you leave, and it's just like, alright. But it was really interesting. I can't exactly remember now what was said, but they were talking about everything happened, why they created these machines, and why the machines turned on them, and blah, blah, blah. It was so interesting. And then Now you get extra assets. It would have been great if you had Leviathan fighting with you in the war. That would have been perfect and fantastic, and I would have adored it. Okay, now let's talk about my spoilery pros and cons. Combat in this completely fails on so many levels because all you're doing is fighting more of the same creatures that you fight all the time. You're just fighting more cannibals and more brutes and more banshees and more husks and whatever the rest are. Marauders. Marauder shields. When you're rescuing Anne, it's the same. When you're finding Leviathan, it's exactly the same. You're just doing more running. Running. That's all you freaking do. It would have been great if they introduced something else to fight against. But they must be too lazy to put something else in there. It's just boring. Now they in the Leviathan, the final mission, when you're trying to find Leviathan and you have to run and put these power sources around so you can access the mech room or whatever, they have you with one of the things on the back that they do in the multiplayer where you have to get to a certain zone. They do that in single player in this, and I'm like, okay. And then the longer you take, the more times you have to go back and get more power sources because you're taking too long. You can seriously just ignore the Reapers and go straight there because they'll go for the people you bring first, and then they come to you. It's so dumb. Sorry, but it was ridiculous and stupid. That's my only con. My pro, this was an intense and really gratifying storyline. I really found it immersed me in the storyline. It was really good. It was excellent and exciting at making you. It made you feel so uneasy and awkward and uncomfortable, especially in the scene, in the mission where you have to go find Dr. Garneau because he has information that you need, but then you find that he's dead because of everything that's happened there and that someone's shot him, but you still never find out who kills him. And then someone else is betraying Garneau, and then Leviathan takes hold of that person dies, and the whole station is creepy. Now I want to talk about the facility that they're on, because I just want to talk about this first. Because this was my favourite mission. I loved it. I adored it. It was one of my favourite moments. So actually, no, I'll go into my favourite moments section. I'll put that in there. Okay. Next bit is that the locations were beautiful. The graphics were perfect. Locations were beautiful. My favourite location would have to be the one where you are going to go underwater, the underwater location. They had giant jellyfish. They had the rocks were accurate of what would have looked like in a really deep sea realm. They had deep drops, and it was just beautiful. All you could see was like musty blue water, and it was just what you'd expect from an undersea lock, as it were. If you've played, I presume you have, since you're watching this now, you will know what I mean by this. The creepy Bryson experiment that scared the bejeebus out of me. I recorded my reaction for this. I was going to do a reaction camera, and then I didn't want to anymore, so I kept this one because I thought, I'll put it in there because, it's funny. And you can see me react. I was like scared shitless, so it was really funny. So I'm going to put that in there now so you can watch this now. What is that? Oh. No, that is so damn creepy. If anyone's watched the walkthrough for this or played it, please comment below and tell me if you thought this freaking Bryson experiment was creepy. It's following me. What happens if I click on it? Huh! Bye? No. That was really creepy. And weird, right? Facility where you find Garneau. Oh my god, I loved this mission so much. As soon as you get in, you know something is really weird. Everyone stops and looks at you. There was a little Reaper little battle outside. They were trying to get in, and then you see everyone inside, and they're walking around like they don't even know what's happening. You go to their desk, and they're like robots. They speak like robots saying, "How can we help you?" And then once they find out that something is wrong. They know, but they don't. They go, "You don't belong here. You need to leave now before I call security. You don't belong here." It's so creepy. And when you ask people questions, they just say, "You don't belong here." And then when you get past the elevator, people start following. There's this one guy that follows you everywhere. Like, he's following you. And then when you get, this is funny, when you get into a certain room, everyone's talking, and they stop. The map in the middle goes, I think it's a map, or something in the middle turns red. They stop and look at you. They just follow, when you move, they turn. Oh, I was like, oh, please don't kill me. They was just this close, and it was just, not this close, but the eyes were like burning. It felt like they were burning on you, and it was really creepy. And then, what's next? Oh, the very final part when you find the real Garneau, because someone pretends to be Garneau, which is also really creepy because he goes like this against the glass, and then he breaks out. And this is some crazy patient who pretends to be Garneau, and then he dies as well, which is strange. And then a series of, they're not really miners, but they're just like people that work there, come in, and you say to them, you ask them a few questions, and then you mention something about the Reapers, and they actually say, "What's a Reaper?" And then Shepard goes, "What year do you think this is?" And they say, 2176. And then Shepard says, "That was 10 years ago." How weird is that? Oh, these people have no memory of the last 10 years. That was the best mission. I loved that mission. It was so cool. Next. When you've got Anne, I love this, it was so cute. James comes down, and he's with you and Edie and Anne in Dr. Bryson's office on the Citadel. And Anne wants Leviathan to possess her. And then James comes down and he says, "I'm going to be right here." Puts his hand on her shoulder. And it just made me think, is there something, does James like Anne Bryson? I just thought it was really strange to just randomly put James in there. Why couldn't Shepard do it or something? And it was weird, so I'm like, okay. And he goes, "Are you okay? Are you okay?" So she's like, after everything. So I'm just like interested in if there was anything going on a little bit, or why they picked James specifically as that person to do that. No one else does it but James. Doesn't matter if you take him on the mission or not, he's always there. And finally, when you see Leviathan for the first time, and he rises up, and he does not look like the regular Reapers. He looks just like rock with paint. The same shape, same form, but he looks like he's rock with paint on the top, in the middle, and he looks like he has face, and he looks like he has mouth and eyes and stuff. So there was a difference, and that was really interesting because you could guess that the Reapers would be the same because they can indoctrinate, and the Leviathan could also do the same. It was either between a Reaper-like person in my head or the Thorian, because the Thorian in Mass Effect 1 was a huge thing that I actually thought it was going to have something to do with, but a little bit disappointed about that. But I'm really glad they chose a Reaper sort of character. My final verdict for this DLC is that this does lack some motivation, but completely makes up for it in the very interesting storyline, you get some more weapons and upgrades. You get some more, and you also get extra dialogue scenes with, if you take your love interest, there's a slight variation on the final mission. The love interest says never do that again, because you almost die again. Why is it the ship is always dying or almost dying all the time? And you have a really intense conclusion to this DLC, so I was really happy with it. I'm going to give this, my first proper review, a 7.5, just because I like Mass Effect so much. God, Bioware is a great company. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you in my next video.